Hello, my friends and family. Kulisi here. I just want to share with you a very important story tonight. And this is how I married a Tongan. So I know a lot of you here in Tonga, here locally, you guys have seen me, the big, tall, white guy, walking around with his Tongan wife. I guess I should probably begin with my upbringing. I grew up in pretty much white, middle-class suburbia. I grew up in the Mormon, what is commonly known as the Mormon Church. All of us young boys had aspirations to go on missions. You know, it's from what I understand, it's a prayerful process where they consider where young men will go, and young women too, will go on their missions. You receive what's called a calling, and it tells you where you go on your mission. But I got the envelope. I opened up my mission call, and it said, "You are hereby called to serve in the Tonga Nuku'alofa mission." And I was like, whoa, that's in the Pacific, isn't it? I'll tell you what, I was a gung-ho missionary prep kid. I'll tell you what. I mean, I had a whole precedence of, you know, church leaders, guys that I looked up to, you know, your Bruce R. McConkeys, your Boyd K. Packers, Gordon B. Hinckley's, you know, I mean, that's what I aspired to be. The starched shirt, suits, slick back, Grecian 5 hair, horn-rimmed glasses, scriptorian greatness. Went to the Missionary Training Center in Provo, Utah, made great friends there, had a great experience there, and then it was off to Tonga. That experience, it's completely selfless. You lose yourself in just serving other people. I got so connected to the Tongan people and to the culture. I mean, I think I identified as a Tongan. I mean, I learned to speak the language fluently. I mean, heck, I seriously thought that I'd get up in the morning, one morning, and look in the mirror and see a Tongan guy looking back out. But, you know, I love the people so much. And I remember being in the MTC, the Missionary Training Center. I remember they gave us a piece of paper. I don't remember who the talk is, if it was like a speech that one of the church leadership had given or something like that. Talked about locking your heart as a missionary. So as you can imagine, you know, it's against the rules to date girls. And you have to, you know, really kind of suppress those feelings. And that's what I did. You know, I was a really obedient missionary. I always tried to keep the rules and do what I was supposed to do and work hard. And you know, there were times where there were girls who, you know, would say that they thought I was cute or whatever, but I stayed focused. And you know, you notice attractive girls. Man, I'm not gonna lie. The Tongan ladies are some of the most beautiful women in the world. I said it. There you go. You know, I appreciated that, and so that was a reality that I and other missionaries had to deal with. Elders, lock your heart. Lock your heart. So I went throughout my mission, and I got to my last area, and I was working in a little island called Ha'afeva. But it turns out that my wife was actually one of the first people that I met. You know, her eyes were hypnotic. Wow, she's foisuka. I'm getting a little hot under the collar, you know, and I'm, you know, I'm feeling the voices of these church leaders and what I've learned in the past tell me, lock your heart, elder, lock your heart, elder. But I just, you know, suppress any feelings that come up. And yeah, so we went about our way. You know, we'd run into this girl a lot, just walking down the street. There was a point where she said that she was in love with me. I don't remember anything else in that conversation, but she said that she was in love with me. And I was just like floored by this. I'm like, huh? Lock your heart, elder. Lock your heart, elder. You know, at first I didn't really know how to respond. I was just like, you know, and I felt this tingle. I felt the chill go up my back, and the hair in the back of my neck stood up. Part of me was like, whoa, this is not good. But another part of me was like, excellent. I didn't really know what to say. What was I gonna tell her? I had really no idea. Eventually, I just told her. I said, "Oh, well, I appreciate you sharing that, young lady. But as you may know, as missionaries of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we are not to engage in any kind of conversation of that nature. And it would behoove both of us to refrain from such dialogue." Part of me is like, I'm just trying to, you know, lock my heart at this point, but this girl, she's knocking pretty hard on the door to my heart, pretty hard. And wasn't really sure how I was gonna handle that situation. At that juncture, I knew that it would take some guts to do that. You know, I think it'd be kind of challenging to have the nerves to do that. And you know, when I look back at it, she probably knew that was my last area that I'd be working at that time, and that I'd be going back to America, and she probably saw it as her last opportunity to say something to me. Probably didn't even get to a week later than that we were supposed to have a conference over in Pangai, Hapai. In these conferences, part of the conferences, you learn things and stuff, but you have interviews with the president. He would interview all of the missionaries. And I felt compelled at that time to talk to him about this girl that, you know, confessed that she loved me. And one thing I had forgotten with this whole thing was that my mission president had actually served on Ha'afeva with his wife. And I had forgotten this right at that moment. But I remembered right away when he said, oh, really, who was this girl? Who was this girl? And I told him who it was. And he was like, he kind of started to laugh a bit. And he said, oh, I know her. I know her. He just asked me, he said, well, you know, do you need a transfer or, you know, anything like that? And, you know, of course I was like, oh no, no, not at all. Not at all. I don't need a transfer. No. And, you know, served the remainder of the time that I had there in Ha'afeva. And then my companion and I were headed back to Nuku'alofa. Once we got in the mission office and we started, you know, running into other missionaries and stuff. I know my mission president wouldn't have been, you know, telling people about this whole exchange with this girl in Ha'afeva, but somehow, like, all the missionaries were like, Kulisi o fefe tahine kuya Ha'afeva te motemari, and they're like telling me, hey, Kulisi na kekeli ngawe, and I'm like, what? I'm like, no way, dude. Dude, in Tonga, everybody tends to know everybody else's business. One of the experience I had at that time was my parents actually came from America to pick me up for my mission, and I was gonna be companions with them to do a tour to see the different places that I had served. my parents would tell you that it was a very dreamlike, surreal kind of experience. They actually met my wife and her family. It's so strange, like, you know, and I told them, I said, you know, this girl said that she's in love with me, and I had feelings for her. I'm not gonna lie. And so I told them, I was like, you know, I kind of like this girl. I think my mom was kind of like, what? I don't know. I don't have a good feeling about this. I don't know how my dad was processing it, but at any rate, it was what it was. I did the right thing, you know, how I carried myself there. But at any stretch, we had a great experience. Dude, I'm like as light as a feather. Everything is just blissful. You know, the American boy going to this little tiny island and finds this girl. Eventually, I have to go back to America. Any missionary that served here in Tonga, they will tell you that is a very challenging experience, a kind of a difficult transition going back. I had the opportunity to go out to BYU first semester. I got a job working and teaching Tongan at the Missionary Training Center. It was at that time I decided that I was gonna get in touch with this girl again. This was pre-Facebook. This was even pre-cell phone use here in Tonga. So to get in touch with this girl in Ha'awhiwa, I had to, I'd go to the creamery at BYU, and they had these phone cards, international phone cards, and I'd buy those, and I didn't have a lot of money, but I'd call her, you know, once or twice a week, and so that we could have a conversation. And Ha'awhiwa, they had just gotten electricity at that time, and they had like a fateful. They had like an actual little building for where the telephone was. So I would call the fateful. This guy named Tamale worked there. He still works there, by the way. He'd answer the phone, Malale. I say, Malale, katake elava ki ulea ki he tahine koena. And he'd say, yo, tatali might put the phone down. And then he'd call like a kid or get somebody to go get my wife to come back to talk to me on the phone. So I'd sit there and wait. And actually I'd probably call back. You know, he'd say like, tell me to call back in like 10 minutes or whatever. And so then I called back so that we could talk. And so that's how we communicated. We wrote letters, handwritten letters to each other. I mean, just stuff that just doesn't happen now. My feelings for her really started to grow. Really wanted to be with her. I wanted to spend time with her. You know, at that time at BYU, I was like beside myself. I'd be like in bed and I'd be like in the fetal position, like, please, I want to go back. You know, it was hard. I don't know what I was thinking at that time. Like, there were a lot of girls. There was a lot of girls there that I could have dated. There was a Samoan girl there, I remember, that was interested in me. But no, I was focused on this girl in Ha'awhiwa. And so, I worked at the MTC, I was saving money, and I decided that, hey, I'm gonna go back. I didn't go to school that next semester, and I paid for my ticket to go back to Tonga. My mom, she pulled out, I can't remember if it was her engagement ring or her wedding ring. It was just, I guess it was her wedding ring. She gave it to me and she said, well, if you something like, if you feel that this is the right girl, then here's a ring you can give her as an engagement ring. I just thought that was really thoughtful of my mom to do that. So I came back to Tonga. I got to get together with my wife. It really, I guess, just started like, I just started courting her, basically. I guess that's the term for it. And just wanted to see if it was for real and see if she really loved me. And it didn't take very long. I knew that she really loved me. She really cared about me, and I knew that I really loved her too. Yeah, and so we planned to get married. And this is where I wish I had done things differently, because really, if I could go back, I would have just gotten married here in Tonga with her. I don't know why I didn't do that. I will tell you that I am not a practical person. You know, I could have stayed at school. I could have dated girls at school. Could have, stayed in, not skipped a semester. Could have saved the money and stuff like that. But just had this like desire to come back, you know, obviously for my wife, but also to be back here in Tonga. And I just want to take the public opportunity here to express my love and my gratitude for my wife. We've been through thick and thin. She's always been there by me through some very difficult times, circumstances, to very joyous, happy times. And I, you know, that's what our life experience is about. But she's exceptional. And I'm so grateful and so privileged to have her. She'll be the first to tell you that I'm a crazy son of a gun. I'm not a practical person. I'm very rough around the edges in a lot of ways. But she's always stood by me, and I thank her for that. And I'll always be grateful for everything that she's done for me. I'm trying to think of some practical advice that I could give people that may be in my situation. I think it is important to be practical. You know, in my life, I've made a lot of mistakes. I've made a lot of regressions. I haven't always done the most practical thing, you know, but I'm here. I'm here in Tonga. All of you people that are watching this video right now, I just want to express to you my love and appreciation for you. But I'm grateful to have the experience to be here, and I'll try to make more videos to tell you my experience, but hey, and I hope I get better at telling the stories. Thank you once again. Ofa atu. Talk to you soon. Malomu aho ofua ahono